Have you ever noticed how some people effortlessly command the room without uttering a single word? They don't demand attention. They don't plead for respect. They simply step back, and suddenly everything shifts. The energy changes. People start to wonder, to chase, to feel their absence. Now, imagine if you did the same. What if you stopped reacting on autopilot? What if you chose silence over instant replies, retreat over outbursts? What do you think would happen? Here's the truth. When you stop being emotionally, physically, or psychologically available at all times, the world around you panics. Why? Because people are used to controlling you through your reactions, your predictability. But the moment you withdraw, the game changes. Those who thought they had you figured out realize they never truly knew you at all. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves." Think about that. When you become unresponsive, who freaks out? Who lashes out? Who tries to bait you just to get a reaction? Their behavior reveals everything. Not about you, but about them. It exposes how deeply you've been manipulated without even realizing it. You keep giving pieces of yourself to keep the peace, to avoid losing people who were never truly yours to begin with. Every forced yes, every instant reply, every emotional outburst drains you. And at the end of the day, what's left? Exhaustion, frustration, a hollow feeling you can't explain. But here's why. You're too available for people who don't deserve a second of your silence. This isn't about shutting out the world. It's about choosing you. It's about what Jung called individuation, the journey to becoming whole, authentic, complete. And that journey starts when you realize silence can be louder than 1,000 arguments. That stepping back, when done with intention, not fear, is an act of power. So let me ask you, how much longer will you let others pull your strings? How much longer will you jump like a puppet every time someone pokes your wounds? Maybe it's time to cut those strings, to retreat, to become a mystery. Because when you stop being available, everything changes. The illusion of availability. You've been conditioned to believe your worth lies in how accessible you are. Always responsive, always accommodating, always saying yes when you mean no. From childhood, you were taught that being there for others is a virtue. But here's the hard truth. Excessive availability isn't kindness. It's a prison. And as long as you keep thinking you need to be on call 24/7, emotionally, mentally, physically, you'll be manipulated, drained, and discarded the second you're no longer useful. Why? Because being always available makes you predictable, and predictability turns you into a tool. People use you like an emotional vending machine. Press the button, get what they want, then walk away. But you don't see it because you're trapped in a lie. If I'm always there for others, someone will be there for me. But it doesn't work that way. Carl Jung talked about the persona, the mask we wear to be accepted, and that mask is what keeps you overextended. You say, "I'm fine," when you're drowning. You reply instantly, even when exhausted. You explain, justify, defend yourself as if you owe the world an apology. But here's the reality. The more you center others, the more you disappear from your own life. Being constantly available is a subtle form of self-abandonment. It's a desperate bid for approval, a way to avoid rejection, a futile attempt to control how others see you. But that control comes at a cost: your peace, your energy, yourself. The harsh truth about your energy. People who demand your constant availability don't want you. They want what you provide: validation, comfort, distraction. But the second you set a boundary, the second you refuse to react, they call you selfish, cold, changed. It's not because you changed, it's because you stopped being useful to them. And here's the cruelest part. The more available you are, the less people value you. Why? Because anything given too freely becomes background noise. No one respects what they don't have to earn. No one treasures what's always there. So ask yourself, who truly deserves your time? Who deserves your attention, your presence, your silence? Or better yet, who deserves your absence? But before you answer, there's one critical question we need to explore. Why do we react so much? Why do we feel this compulsive need to respond, to explain, to please? The answer lies in what Jung called psychic energy. And that's where things get really interesting. If this is resonating with you, take a moment, like the video, not for me, but as a signal to yourself that you're waking up, that you're listening differently now. And if you haven't yet, subscribe, not to follow, but to remember who you are every time you press play. The power of silence and strategic withdrawal. You think you're in control of your reactions. You believe your responses are conscious choices. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most of your emotional reactions are programmed, and the people who recognize this can manipulate you with terrifying ease. Carl Jung called this phenomenon projection, where people dump their unresolved issues onto you. But there's an even darker side to this. The more emotionally available you are, the more you become a blank screen for others' projections. That friend who only calls in a crisis. That partner who needs constant reassurance. They're not relating to you. They're using you as an emotional crutch. Here's the breakthrough moment. Manipulators don't need to control you directly. They just need you to keep reacting the same way. But when you stop reacting, when you respond with silence instead of explanations, when you withdraw instead of engaging, that's when their entire game collapses. Your silence forces them to face something terrifying, themselves. Suddenly, they can't use you as their emotional punching bag anymore, and their reaction tells you everything. The anger, the guilt trips, the accusations that you've changed. But what's really happening? You've stopped playing your assigned role in their drama. The Alchemy of Silence. Jung saw silence not as emptiness, but as fertile ground for transformation. When you stop reacting, you start observing patterns you never noticed before. You see manipulation tactics that used to work on you. You recognize your own self-sabotaging cycles. This is why silence terrifies manipulative people. It takes away their narrative control. While you're talking, you're still playing their game. But when you go silent, you change the rules. True silence isn't weakness. It's mastery over your energy, refusal to be dragged into others' chaos, conscious choice to avoid battles that aren't worth fighting. But be warned, silence comes with a price. It will distance you from people who only valued your usefulness, make you seem cold to those who profited from your openness, force you to sit with uncomfortable truths about your relationships. The rebirth. At first, the silence feels empty. You'll question yourself. Am I being too harsh? Will people leave? But gradually, something shifts. The silence stops feeling like absence and starts feeling like presence, your own. This is what Jung called individuation, becoming who you truly are by stepping away from the crowd. You're not running from the world, you're returning to yourself. You'll lose people, but you'll find you. You'll feel lonely, but you'll discover strength. You'll be misunderstood, but you'll finally be free. The people who can't handle your absence reveal an ugly truth. They never wanted you. They wanted what you provided. And that realization, that's where your new life begins. Now, here's your challenge. Are you ready to be called selfish for choosing yourself? Are you willing to sit with the discomfort of being truly, unapologetically you? Because that's where real power lives. Not in the noise, but in the sacred silence you create. Only the awake make it this far, and now you're one of them. If this video found you, like it. Subscribe for more quiet truths, and hit the bell so you don't miss the moments that matter. Tell me in the comments, what part spoke to you the most, or what silence are you finally ready to honor? See you in the next video.